Look at these fucking scores. I'm disgusted.
What is going on, Sabres fans? Welcome to another episode of the Sabres Spotlight podcast with your host, Matt and Ryan. Ryan, what's going on?
Not a whole lot, my guy. What's going on with you?
Oh, sorry. I forgot we were starting. I was like the Sabres for a second.
Oh, you weren't ready to start the podcast, just like the Sabres aren't ready to start their games.
I like planned like ahead of time that I was gonna do that joke in there. And I was like, and we were talking right before, but I was like, I'm not telling him that I'm doing that. And it's just gonna be like an awkward second, and then I'm gonna throw that joke in there.
Well, I got to it first.
All right. So what's new, man? What's going on?
Fuck, nothing, dude. Not like this week has been just it flew by, I feel like, and I got really nothing to talk about. That's not like Sabres related.
And we don't even want to talk about that really. But
I know, I'm not gonna lie. Like you texted me earlier and you were like, "Oh, I'm so excited to record," and I looked at my phone. I put it down because I didn't want to answer you immediately because I'm like, I don't want to fucking talk about this team like at all. Like 0% of me wants to talk about this team. But hey, we're in the content creation game now, so we have to.
dude, I am amped up to have this episode because I can't wait to just shit on this team. Like I don't know if you saw Randy like commented on our on Twitter and was like, "Oh, forget what he said, something along the lines of like, are you guys recording this week or anything?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, dude." I'm like, I'm so excited to just dump on this team.
Oh, we're gonna take just massive dumps all over the organization tonight, and it might be a little cathartic.
Well, I got a few things to get out here before we get started. So I got a weekly studio update. I now have my space heater out in my garage, so I'm pretty fucking pumped about that. So I'm not like, dude, I feel like I'm in a sauna right now, if I'm being honest.
Dude, this guy's wife just relegates him to the fucking garage, so he needed a space heater.
I got my boy Skinny here, although I kind of hate him right now because he's playing like shit. And you already know if you're watching on YouTube. There it is, at Saber Spotlight, baby. I gotta make a
Tell
better
your,
sign than a just
tell
fucking
your
loose leaf
buddies,
sheet of paper.
tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell your mom, tell your dad. This is the number one place you want to go for Sabres talk.
this ghetto ass setup.
On a piece of paper. I love it.
All right. Also, dude, I'm pretty excited because, well, you know that I play this game Clash of Clans on my phone, and I've been playing this game for like, I don't know, like I started it at when I was at Damon, so this was 8 years ago, and probably a little bit before. So I've been playing this game for like 10 years, and like pretty like religiously, like for 10 years. Like I think I took a break for a couple years, but I've been playing for the next few years, and like they got a new update coming, and it's like the next town hall level, which is like a huge update, and I am stoked for it. I cannot wait. I'm totally addicted to this game.
Are you gonna bring back Clash Living podcast?
Dude, the Clash of Living podcast was where it's at, but no. Only one podcast at a time. But that is how much I love this game. I had literally had a podcast for it. So
Yeah, I mean, you roped me in for a little while, but I got bored. But man, you love that game. You love it. Always have.
we got a solid clan too. Like we started from the bottom, and now we're here, man. We made it. We're like a level 16 clan now. Like I got guys in there I play fantasy football with now. Like we're a family. We're a brotherhood.
That's so cool. Yeah, better than the Saberhood.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So before I go down my last thing, I have to. I'm gonna backpedal a little bit on my original take on Saberhood. I'm kind of liking it.
No, 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 no.
I
I
kind of
had
am.
I had 3 people this week come up to me and say something like about the Saberhood, and I'm like, it's so fucking corny. I can't stand it.
Dude, I know, and like, so we mentioned it a couple weeks ago on the show, and you like kind of like because I had no idea, and you were like, "Oh, what about this? People are calling it this," and I was like, "I don't know." I'm like, I don't really like it, but now it's kind of sinking in, and
It's
I've
catching on.
it's catching on in my head, and I've tweeted it a couple times. I've used the hashtag. I'm like, I'm kind of here for this right now.
Well, whenever you tweet it or use the hashtag, we get people just like in our replies and stuff, and like responding to our polls. So just keep using it. Keep using
Well,
it.
Well, somebody posted like some Saberhood merch. I think it might actually been the Sabres or whatever. And I was like, it's actually kind of sweet. I was like, all right. I mean, I don't know if I'm there to like buy it yet or not, but I mean, I'm definitely warming up to it.
Well, since we suck, I'm just buying absolutely nothing. But hey, if they start playing well, I might, my wallet might open up a little bit for some Saberhood merch. It took a while for Bill's Mafia to kick in. Maybe this is like a similar thing.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know if it'll stick around or not, but yeah, I will. I will say I'm backpedaling a little bit. I like it. And then last thing here, real quick before we get started, my daughter. So I don't know if I've mentioned on the show, Riley. Like
Yeah, you have
she's
every single episode.
well every episode, yes, but I don't know if I've talked about her sleeping. And like it's like I've told you, obviously she's literally demonic at bedtime, and
Oh
like
yeah.
some nights she goes to bed like no problem. Like if she's like pretty tired or whatever, but like most nights bedtime's like at least a 45-minute process, if not like an hour, because we can't just put her in bed and then walk away. Like she needs to be out cold before I leave, or else she's just gonna cry for me. Well, this week I don't know what is going on. If it's like if Mercury is in retrograde or what, but like she is just on one at bed and like just crying, and I'm like, and she's like saying there's a monster in her closet, and like last night 2 hours it took to get to bed last night, and I didn't even do anything. She's just like literally like an hour of just nonstop crying. I'm just sitting there like, all right, let me know when you want to go to bed. There's nothing I can do. Anytime I try to say anything, she just gets worked up and she just tries to smack me.
Oh my God. Well, hey, that's me too. After the Sabres get their shit pushed in by another team, I'm laying in bed crying too. So maybe she was sad about the Sabres.
Maybe she used to watch with me at the beginning of the season, but now she doesn't want to watch that anymore. She just rather play with her toys. But honestly, tonight she was pretty good. It was tonight because I didn't know when we were going to be recording. It's only like 9:30 and we're getting rolling. And I thought we were going to be pushing like 10:30, but
Well,
um,
sometimes she's on demon time, dude. That's how she
she
is.
was on Demon Time tonight. But anyways, you got any shout outs here before we get into the content of the show?
Not gonna lie, dude, I literally cannot think of a single thing to say
We got to
about
shout out
any.
Dylan one more time
Why?
for that
Shout out
fucking
Dylan.
dessert, man. I'm still is he like he's still the man.
I know. I'll bring it to you as soon as I get another portion. It's crazy that my aunt will literally make it and then just like make a second one just for me. It's fucked up. Not gonna lie.
And you shout out your three buddies last time. I won't tell them who after the show you actually secretly told me you like the best, but
Yeah, don't say it. Don't say it because I'll definitely do like one of them more. I'm just kidding. That'd be so fucked up. It's ridiculous. That'd be so fucked up.
well, I got to shout out my mom real quick for her birthday a couple days ago. So shout out to Mama Walsh. Happy
Yeah. Shout
birthday!
out Rose.
I'm a total mama's boy, and yeah, so happy birthday to her. This dude, I got like so my family's crazy because we got like all four of our birthdays in the span of like a month and a half, and then we have nothing for the year. But it's like every couple weeks now, it's like birthday, 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 and then they're just all done. But
Well, if we're shouting out birthdays, I gotta shout out my wife's birthday. Duh. Happy birthday,
oh yeah,
Lexi.
let's go. Yeah.
I didn't know we were shouting out birthdays until you shouted out your mother. So it was my wife's
Oh, dude.
birthday the other day, and dude, it's great. She had a great day, so a great weekend, dinner. So it was fun.
Yeah, that's you know what's funny? I thought about this the other day. I'm pretty sure like I'll like randomly text Lexi here and there like about a song or whatever. Like we don't
Yeah.
text like all that often, but like I'm pretty sure every year it just happens where I text her on her birthday. Like I've forgotten it's her birthday and I text her on her
Something
birthday,
random.
something random, and then I'm like, "Oh shit, it's her birthday." And then I say like, "Oh, by the way, happy birthday." Like I think that's happened the last few years.
That's really funny. That's really funny.
Because that totally happened this year. But we were talking about actually Christmas stuff for you. But
Oh yeah. Okay.
and I,
Are you guys done shopping for us or no?
it's kind of hard to find some. I'm like because like under $3 like is like tough, you know.
Under three? I had no idea we were doing that. What do you mean?
No, I'm just messing
Oh.
around. No, we know
I
we already got you a couple
so
good things, and I got an idea for one more thing too.
I told Lexi like yesterday. I'm like, holy shit, I don't have anything for Matt for Christmas. And she's like, don't worry, I got it. I'm like, oh. okay, sick. And I'm like, well, what is it? And then apparently I also got the same thing, so I can't say. She's like, I can't tell you. And then I'm like,
Oh yeah, I've heard about
okay.
this. I've heard about this. It's gotta be
So,
Saber
so,
Stickers, right?
I don't know. So like,
That's my guess. So if they're listening, that's my guess.
should we get each other something else also? Did you give me a separate gift?
I did.
Okay, okay. We do this every year, and I forget like the format. So all right,
I
I'll
I
find you
don't
something.
have I don't have it in my possession yet,
Okay,
but I know it's
I'll
gonna
find you.
be.
I'll find you
I,
something nice. Remember last year I got you the NF shirt, I think,
oh
or
yeah,
was
that
it the
was
Knox
sick.
Hill shirt?
I think last year, no, last year was Knox Hill, I think.
Okay,
But
the year
I've
before
been
that
putting
was
some
NF.
I've been putting some serious thought into yours this year. It's been so we'll see.
Good.
Hopefully I do good. So
Yeah, I'll find something nice for you.
all right, well that's enough about us. Let's get into the thing nobody wants to talk about, which is we were trying to delay it as much as we could, but now we'll get into the Buffalo Sabres here, and I think they've been playing hockey. I don't really know what to call it, but they've been out on the ice and they've been skating around in circles and playing with themselves a little bit. But yeah, so
They've been getting a lot of cardio lately.
dude, I am just like I almost like wanted to start off this episode just like with a boo, just like to kind of keep them going because they've been hearing those so often lately. But yeah, I don't know. All right, do you want to do the game recaps here? We don't have to spend a
Yeah,
ton of time on them, but
let's get into
um,
it. Let's get into it.
so it's funny because last episode we always do our looking ahead and like point projections, and you predicted 7 out of 8 points coming into this week, and I predicted
I did.
6.
Yep.
And we were the Homer podcast for sure. I mean, but our rationale was basically, listen, like if they don't do it now, it might be too late, and it might already be too late to be honest.
Yeah.
With
I mean, they got a fat 0.
they got no points, 0-4, and it was not only was it 0-4, it was pretty ugly games. So we'll start out in St. Louis, a 6-4 loss. Something we talked about last episode, getting off to a slow start. So 2 goals they allow in the first 5 minutes, 3 goals allowed in the first 10. So it's like another game where you're just like not ready to play. You dig yourself in a hole, and then to their credit, they do tie it up. But then, in typical Sabres fashion, immediately give up 2 goals. Like once they tie it in the second, then they immediately go down 5-3.
Well, I feel like like you said, they weren't ready to go. I mean, some of those goals, I don't know. Fuck, man. We just got done praising UPL and how he's playing great, and he had a goal that should have been stopped, and one like legitimately, I think like a difficult save, and then the third goal, I think it was the Shen goal, where it's another like odd man rush, and the puck goes to the corner, and the puck gets thrown to the slot. No one's back checking, and UPL is loading up into a fucking spaceship and blasting off into the corner. Like I don't know what was going on there. Like that was just horrible, horrible goaltending. Like this team, I don't get it. And then they finally find their offense. Like this team finds its offense, and they did battle back to their credit, like you said, but they were cooking them. Like they played amazing. They just couldn't keep up with like how poor their defense was and how poor the goaltending was. It's so frustrating. They can't put together like a full game plan. Like you're not going to play well for 60 minutes. There's going to be like spurts where you're going to, have some in zone pressure and, get bailed out by a save, but like they got none of that today on that day.
Well, okay, here's some stats for you, just to kind of encapsulate some of the things you were talking about. St. Louis, 6 goals, 20 shots. 20 shots,
Wow.
6 goals. Sabres, 4 goals, 46 shots. So we actually over more than doubled them. So they honestly played pretty well in this game, but like UPL, I mean, 14 for 20, a 700 save percentage. Power
Oh
play
my
was 0 for
fucking god.
2. Power play 0 for 2. Power play continued to struggle. Penalty kill was 1 for 2. I mean, the bright spots on the night were Zach Benson and Krebs. Benson had a goal and an assist, and Krebs had a goal and assist. And Benson's goal was right off the face off, just kind of like shot it on net, and I think it went 5-hole. Maybe took a little
Yep.
deflection, but good to see him get on there. And Krebs finally gets a goal and an assist. And I don't remember the lines for this night, but Krebs was playing with shooters, right? He finally actually had some people on his line.
I
I
think
can't.
he had Roseanne on his line, I think, and another. I think it might have been a Poso, because that's the line they rolled last night too.
But at
I
least
think it could have
he
been.
gets on the scoreboard. He gets the assist, and then Darlene and Paterka scored the other goals. But
It's just so frustrating, dude. Like they should have won. They could have won this game. Like I think they're a better team than St. Louis, at least on paper. But they're just so fragile. And I mean, this was a theme throughout the whole week, where like they let in goals early and then they let in more goals, and it's like, dude, like pull your shit, like get your shit together. It's like shit is rolling downhill immediately. Like I'm starting to text you and like my other like people I talk about hockey with, and I'm like, all right, $5 the other team scores like within the first 2 minutes, and it's like it happens every time. It's insane.
yeah, it's almost a given at this point. And when we talk about the discussion points later, I'm sure we'll get into more of like who's to blame, with that. But it is, I mean, it's a theme through all of these games. Like literally all four games we're about to talk about, that happens. What do you think about? I'll be interested to see what you think about this. What do you think about Samuelson getting 20 minutes of ice time in this game and Ryan Johnson only getting 10?
They're playing Sammy way too much. Like he's clearly going like I mean this whole season really, he's been one of our worst defensemen, and we're playing him with Darlene, our best defenseman. So he's just playing entirely too much, but there's not really anything else we can do unless we play, unless we try like John or Darlene Yokiharu and then like maybe power Samuelson or who's also struggling. So there's really nowhere for Samuelson to hide right now. It's very frustrating. Like the depth is like not good like at all to like prevent even one guy from having a tough season. There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah, yeah, and I actually I have a thought that I'll bring up later when we go through the discussion points a little bit more. We talked about Samuelson and his struggles last episode, so we don't need to dive too much into that
But
today.
Ryan
But
Johnson should get more ice time. Let me just say he should get more ice time and he should not be being scratched.
yeah, he should be getting more than 10 minutes of ice time and should most certainly not be getting scratched. All right, so then we go from a 6-4 loss in St. Louis to a 6-2 loss in Carolina, and we get
This
so
is the worst loss in the league, or the worst
this
loss of our season.
of the year. Yeah, it was absolutely terrible. I mean, this game was like I don't even I wanted to watch gouge my eyes out just watching it. I'm like, this was one of those games where you're just like you're if you kept it on the whole game, you're just like what I was doing, just hate watching, and you're just like I just
Yep,
honestly want to
I
see
was
them
too.
I'm just hate watching. I just want to see them get annihilated and just like it totally embarrassed.
Yep, I was doing the same thing. I was like, oh, every time like Aho had a breakaway, I'm like, come on, fucking bury it, let's go. And it's so sad that we're at this point, bro. Sad.
I mean, Carolina always destroys us, but I mean, listen to these numbers again. Down 2-0 after the first, down 5-0 after the second, 5-0. We're outshot 37-22. Power play 0 for 5. 0 for 5 on the power play, and we were 0 for 2 on the penalty kill. Like absolutely nothing went right in this game. Just an absolute shit show.
There's really not much else to say about it. I mean, I could, I mentally blocked this out from my memory until we're like kind of rehashing it now. I couldn't tell you who played in goal. Was that the back to? No, that was not the back to back because the back to back was Carolina Nashville. So
Yeah, the back to back was the weekend.
this this was a UPL game or a Comrie game? UPL game, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
And
UPL was in that.
they were just from the opening. I do remember now that we're talking about it. Opening face off, like they were just all over us. Like there was a period where we couldn't even move the puck out of the zone. I mean, that's been a theme where we can't even have a controlled entry or
Oh
a
yeah,
controlled exit.
nope.
It's either we get the puck, there's nowhere to pass to, and our defenseman has to do that little flip play and try to win a one-on-one battle that we won't win, and we're just kind of doing that over and over again.
Yeah, they're playing this dump and chase game. There's absolutely no resemblance of last season where they're actually carrying the puck to the neutral zone, stringing together passes. I mean, we have such a hard time getting the puck out of our zone with any type of like fluidity and just like the transition from like our back end up the ice is so poor. It's like we were talking about this last night. There's absolutely no awareness of where each other is. It's like if so like it's like the guys getting the puck, whoever that first man back on D is, whether it's Power, Darlene, Samuelson, they're turning around and like they have absolutely no idea. And you watch these other teams, Carolina did it a bunch. Like they're almost throwing no look passes. Like they just know where the other person is. Like
Yep.
it's there's a game plan. There's unity going up the ice. With us, it's just nothing. It's like there's you're turning around and you're just praying that you can string one pass and then just dump it in and then maybe win a puck battle. That's it.
And it's not really like, I guess it is related to this game because it's related to every single game. But our defensemen, I am terrified when Eric Johnson, for instance, or a Samuelson or a Power lately or a Clifton the most. Clifton is the most. My heart stops when he's got his back to the play. Like if he's going back to the puck and he's got a forechecker, my heart is stopping because I know it's a giveaway. It's 100% giveaway. Like they all make way too long to make a decision, or they make a decision and it's just on the tape of the other team. Like it's it's very poor. It's honestly the worst we've seen in years.
It's bad. It's bad. And I mean, I'm with you with Clifton. Like, I mean, for someone making 3.3, like he's absolutely brutal. Like, and it's funny too because when we signed him, like all the Bruins fans were like, "Oh, what a good signing by the Sabres! Like they got an absolute dog and stuff." It's like, well, that's because Boston was actually using him the right way,
Yeah.
and we're not, and we're overpaying for him. But I mean, to be honest, dude, like I'm not about to just like get on Owen Power, but like I have lost a ton of faith right now in Power. Like he looks noticeably regressed these last like few weeks when we defended him, a handful of shows ago. And I think that was
Right.
warranted early on in the season because it wasn't as bad early on in the season, but like compared to last year, I mean, he's noticeably just like more skittish with the puck. You can tell he doesn't want to get hit, and teams are hitting him and focusing on that. And I have absolutely not been impressed with Power. And I know it's only year two, but as is the case with our entire team and a lot of players, I mean, there's not improvements, there's regressions. So
Yeah. I mean, it's the sophomore slump, and it's it kind of can be expected, but his game right now is just not where it needs to be, and I think that's because we don't have another veteran guy to play with him to calm him down. Like, yes, Henry Jokiharju. No offense to Henry Jokiharju, I think he's honestly been our second best defenseman. Like, if you take the whole season into account, I think he's been our second best defenseman behind Dahlin. But he's not like that calming like defensive rock that Owen Power needs right now. Owen
well, that's
Power
Eric
is
Johnson.
he's fucking terrible. He can't be. Like you can't. So Power's game, like I kind of expect him to be bad defensively, and like yes, he's getting worked on the walls and his awareness is poor. But man, he's fucking 20 years old. He's 20. So like they're really just doing him a disservice. And but I will say when he does get the puck and moves it to the neutral zone, and he's pretty fucking good at that. It's just behind the red line, he's just absolutely just getting worked over by these men, and I mean, there's really just nothing I can even say about it because it's just really hard to watch. It sucks.
Yeah, I have a really hard time. Like I am just like how I felt with Dorsey. Like I am notably like a coach hater, and like, but like when there's guys that are struggling with confidence and just like making dumb plays, and I'm seeing all this regression, I'm 100% pointing to the coach. Like I get the players take accountability, but like I don't know, man. Like he was so good last year. He was so good last year, and it's just like at the end of the day, I just feel like this isn't neuroscience. Like they're not doctors. They're not performing surgery. Like you're literally playing a game. Like hockey is hockey. Like I know it's instinctive and you got to have skill and whatnot. These guys do. They're the best players in the world, and they're getting paid a ton of money. It's like when you're going out there and your game is being ruined and you have the yips because of like lack of confidence. It's just like that's got to be something systemically, or that's coming from up top. You don't just lose that, honestly. Like I just don't
Right.
think he's slumped from like year one to year two just because that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks so bad that like his mind is not right, and it just goes back to what we've talked about, privately and on here. Like, who is our leader? Our leader is our worst forward. probably one of the worst forwards in the league, and a 36-year-old defenseman that should not be playing every night and is bad. Like those are our leaders, dude. There is no leadership. Like they're not. If I got kind of blasted for this on social media a little while ago because I said like, if I'm Dylan Cousins and I'm 22 years old, do you really think that I'm going to listen to Kyle Oposo? Like, not this version of Kyle Oposo. I mean, I get he's a respected veteran, but like, you need your leader to be the one that's driving the bus. And Oposo is, not like he can't do that anymore, and he's just not at that level. So really,
Yeah,
there's just no guidance on this team, and that I feel like they're missing that a lot.
yeah, it is kind of hard when well, I mean, I get exactly what you're saying because it's like, oh, like if you're again, our team is so young, and if Oposo is telling you it's like, oh, you got to do this, this, and this, it's like, dude, you can't do that. And it's
Right.
like, what's Oposo going to say? Oh, look at my tape from 10 years ago. Like, no, it's not applicable. Like, so I mean, I totally get what you're saying there, and I mean, that's got to be Darlene, right? I mean, if Darlene's
But
going to
he
be the
does.
next,
He
so I
does.
mean,
I mean, if you want to talk about the next game, the Nashville game,
well, hang on real quick before we go on to Nashville. I wanted to just it was Comrie in net in this game.
it was okay.
Yeah, because
Okay, so
he had an incredible 838 save percentage because he's just been on fucking fire lately. So
dude, he is super bad. We can get into it when we talk about Detroit, but he is fucking goddamn it, dude. Kevin Adams really fucked us this year. He really fucked us.
someone out there has to keep a counter on this episode, like how many times we just say the word bad, because it's just gonna be a lot.
What my buddy, I don't remember who I was talking to. I think it might have been my friend Randy, but he was like, once you guys get like the setup going and you like understand production a little bit more, you can do like little counters in the corner and stuff like that for like the people that are watching the video and stuff.
Oh
Let
yeah,
and like, no, I don't. Maybe it wasn't Randy. Maybe it was someone else. But like, they were someone I was talking to. Oh no, it was my friend Ryan. Okay, he was telling me about how we were talking about the Benson goal, and he's a very casual like hockey fan, which is like totally fine. But he was like, "Oh, I missed the goal," and you guys were talking about it. I went like it made me go look for it, and I was watching on the video, so it would have been sick if you could have like edited it in there, and I didn't even think of that. So that
yeah,
might be something for the future.
yeah. I mean, if there's someone listening and you want to be our tech guy, just let us know. Like, it's
Yeah, we're
totally
bad.
yeah, it's totally just like it's a I mean it's a free gig. Like you'll make no money, but I mean come on.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, so then yeah, we'll get into Nashville here. I mean, this was also just a brutal game, just another game. I mean, you can see the trends here, right? I mean, we somehow scored 4 against St. Louis, but that game was kind of wide open. They actually played good, but like 2 goals. We scored so many 2-goal games lately, and this is a 2-1 loss in Nashville. Again, down 2-0 after the first 11 minutes. So I mean, right there, you scored 1 goal in the game. So essentially, this game was over after 11 minutes. But you played a good goalie. I mean, you played one of the best goalies in the league, and in
Yeah,
Nashville.
Saros. And during this game, Dylan Cousins was an animal. Like finally, for the first time this year, like Cousins really, really like put two hands in a stick, put his head down, and fucking bullied the Nashville Predators. I think he might have had like 6 or 7 like fantastic chances, and got stoned by UC Saros, and that's the difference between having like an elite goalie and having the tandem that we have. So another one of those we should have been 2-2 this week, honestly, or maybe even 3-2 or 3-1. But
Well,
we
this was the game after obviously that embarrassing loss to Carolina that Cousins called everyone out saying that they're a soft team and that they get bullied on the ice and things and that they need to play with a little bit more FU in their game.
yep.
And so like I mean he kind of needed to have that performance because you can't just say that and then not come out. But I mean to his credit, like you said, he backed it up. 7 shots on goal for Cousins in this
He
game. Like
was
he
there was I can remember like a significant chance in front of the net where Saros was on his stomach and like just robbed him with the pad, and he like looked to the sky, and it's like that was the day he just couldn't buy a goal. But credit to him for taking it to him, though. Honestly, that's the Dylan Cousins I want to see.
Yeah, I mean that was his brand when he got called up, now he makes all this money. So I know there's pressure to get your counting statistics and things on there, but like if he all these kids, like if you just play your game and you don't worry about that, like I know there's expectations, but like Cousins, like look, dude, like go out there and get in a fight, like be that guy for us, like that's okay. Like when we, like I don't know, it's just to me, it's just like if it, what is your identity? Let's not try and change it too much. Like play within yourself, and then all that stuff kind of sorts itself out. We can't have this terrible puck luck for an entire season. The puck luck right now has been absolutely brutal.
I know. I was gonna try and see like check what their PDO is, which is like basically tells you like how lucky you're getting. We've got to be at like the bottom of the league. We have to be because we're just not scoring anymore. I, we're not even generating chances. So when we do, they don't go in.
Saros had a 971 save percentage in this game, and Vic scored on the. I mean, his shootout, or not shootout, his penalty shot was actually kind of sick.
Yeah, it was a nice goal. I mean, it was like Datsuk, like Pavel Datsuk 2007 ass goal. It was sick. I mean, was this so? This was the game where Darlene shrugged off a guy and then fired like did the little like home run pass to, and Vic got like the breakaway and scored the goal. So
Yep.
pretty good moment there for them too. Vic Olofsson has been one of our better forwards lately, which is
Yeah.
sad to say after all the shitting on him that everyone has been doing for the last year. Like good for him, and maybe he gets paid somewhere after the season. Like maybe not paid, but he should still be in the NHL.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's been fine. He hasn't. He certainly hasn't been a liability out there. I mean, not any more than every other person on the team. So yeah. I mean, whatever. It's been fine. And so this was at home, and of course they always suck at home, and then they sucked again 2 days later, a 4-3 loss against Detroit. I mean, down 2-0 after the first 8 minutes. Just another like terrible start. So it was so bad that Buchigras in the second period, and I had to put this in there because it was just like a yikes moment. Quote says it's men amongst boys tonight. Like and the broadcast was just like they were kind of ripping Buffalo the whole time, just like saying how shitty they've been playing and stuff. And that's the truth. So whatever. But yeah, I mean, when he said that quote, "It's men amongst boys tonight," I was like, what a fucking embarrassment. Like this is how we're viewed around the league,
On
and it's
national
like
TV.
on national TV, and you know damn well like if just like broadcasters and spectators are thinking that, like I can only imagine what actual NHLers are saying about the Buffalo Sabres and the organization.
Oh, okay. So I did a little bit of digging after this game because honestly, this game broke me. This game, I hate the Detroit Red Wings. I can't fucking stand them. I can't stand Steve Yzerman. I can't stand the Yzer plan. I can't stand Dylan Larkin, even though thoughts and prayers to like him and his wife. They just lost their baby girl, like a stillborn baby, and that really hits home for me. And it's just awful, 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 awful. You never want to see that, but he came back to the team last week and he's been playing his dick off. So fuck, man. He said after the game it was him. He had an interview, and then I think it might have been Jake Wallman, the defenseman, and they talked about how last year the Sabres dunked on the Red Wings 4 times. We dominated them. They were our little brother. So much so that Steve Yzerman came out and said that the Sabres and the Senators are ahead of us at this point in the rebuild. Well, here comes this game, and Dylan Larkin said after the game that he told the boys, "Listen, they fucked us up 4 times last year. We got to take it to them. We're the better team this year. We're third in the Atlantic." And they came out and they dominated us. They were faster. They moved pucks quicker. It looked like they had something to play for, and it looked like the Sabres were quitting. That's how bad it was. I honestly thought that we were playing to get Don Granado fired last night.
Dude, I kind of got chills, man. You just went in. You just dummied the Sabres. That was great.
Pisses me off, man. This game specifically broke me because of how passionate I am that I fucking can't stand this franchise, and that was the team that like just dog walked us.
Well, there goes our Red Wings interview in a couple weeks.
No, we're talking to them because I don't like the Red Wings, but it's fine because you gotta respect what they're doing right now. You gotta respect them.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's why in hopefully a little spoiler to fans listening, where I actually chatted with a Red Wings show, and we're gonna do an interview with them sometime in the near future. And I'm kind of excited to do it just for the fact that like we can actually listen to, as much as we hate them, like, well, what did their actual what did their GM do that ours didn't? Like, you went out and did this, and obviously we know the moves that were made, but like, the proof is in the pudding there. I mean, if you go out and actually make tangible efforts to improve your team, well, there it is. I mean, they're clearly ahead of us now. And just going back to your Dylan Larkin point in the interview, dude, I texted you immediately after that interview, and I was like, dude, I don't really like Dylan Larkin either, but like, this interview was great. Just like spoken, just like the demeanor was so calm after the big win, and just like a true leader. And clearly, he got his team ready to go for that game. And he got hurt like in the third, and then he like came back and eventually put it away like with the empty netter. So like, that's the kind of leader that you want. And I'm not saying Oposo and these guys aren't leaders, but I mean, I think that the Sabres as a whole just lack leadership from the top to bottom. But it was clear, seeing the game, watching the game, and then seeing just the differences in how the Red Wings carried themselves. I mean, they were laughing at us out on the ice. It was men amongst boys. It was truly, it was a stark difference, and it was jarring to see.
In the third period, I think they let up a little bit, and that's what kind of rallied us. Like, the demeanor of our team is crazy. Like, we scored that first, finally we got on the board. We scored. Right after that, we started fucking taking it to them. Like, I don't get how this team can play so bad. So many bad things happen, and it rolls downhill. And then they get one thing to go their way, and they just start popping off. Jeff Skinner last night was terrible. Terrible for 2 periods in a row. And then the third period, he was a man possessed. He was insane, specifically. Benson was a dog all night. Darlene had a horrible giveaway in the first minute. Horrible. Tries to go through the middle, and he's lucky that we didn't get scored on there. And then in the third period, he was unbelievable. Like, this team's mentality is so fragile. I think Don Granato actually said, which is insane for a coach to say in the media, that his team is fragile. Like, use that word specifically. Like, it's the truth, but like, you're supposed to protect these guys. Like, I, as a fan, love that he said that they're fragile. And I've been on Don a lot because I don't think he's the right coach, and I really think he should be fired. But as a player, I'd be fucking furious with my coach if he went out in the media and said that. So I don't think they're playing for him. I think they're playing for
Mm-mm.
themselves, and that's not a way to carry out the season.
No, they're 100% not playing for him. They're 100% not playing for each other. I mean, they got to know that there's a lack of accountability. And Don lately, I mean, he's been floundering in these press conferences because the questions have actually been picking up in intensity. We just talked about this a month ago. I went on my rant about how like Don gets coddled in the media, and now he's starting to get these hard questions, and he's fucking up. He is saying shit that's true, like you said, that these players aren't playing good. And even just today, I was listening to him talk earlier, and he was asked about Cousins, and he basically said, yeah, Cousins hasn't been playing good, and we need him to get back to his game. And he said and I'm like, he's legit just like calling out his players in the media. Like, I don't even think he knows he's doing it, but like, as a player, when you watch it back, you're like, this sounds so bad. And it's like, clearly this guy is like frustrated, and now he's starting to hear these hard questions, and he doesn't know how to respond. And that's gonna, I mean, that could have devastating effects. That can snowball even more. I already don't think the players take him serious enough, but he's definitely starting to just yammer a little bit in these press conferences, and everyone's sick of hearing the same exact things.
Well, I gotta tell you, I was just looking it up because I tweeted about it yesterday. But I can tell you this guy has no answers. He's out of answers. I'm not sure what the question was, but he was asked something about better starts and stuff, and he said, quote unquote. So this is like Brian Cozio from WGR actually tweeted this out. He said, Granato says they open up all options for game day routines and what to do to get better results to start games. What are you even fucking saying? What are you saying? What does that mean, dude? What does that mean? Like, you're the coach. You're the coach. Get these guys ready to fucking play. Like, what are you saying? You're not saying anything of relevance, dude. You're not.
No,
You sound like a
no.
fucking idiot.
Well, just like when he said that they're gonna start watching tape.
Yeah. Oh, fucking wow. Finally, you're gonna sit him down and watch some tape. Finally. You should have sat him down and watched tape fucking 2 weeks ago when Jeff Skinner, his controller died and he's skating through the middle of the fucking zone as Boston scores on us and he's doing nothing. Like, I guarantee you, they do not get sat down. They do not. You think fucking
No,
Jason, you think Matt Ellis or Jason Christie is sitting down with these guys in the room and telling Jeff Skinner, oh, you gotta be better here? No. Like, no, they're not. They're clearly not. Like, they are not learning anymore. Like, they're not learning. They're doing
no.
the same shit every single day. It's crazy. The mistakes are all the same. There's no leadership and no learning.
Yeah, it's absolutely brutal, like you even see like the videos they post about practices and stuff, and it's like there's no intensity. I mean, I know we don't see all of it, but like, do you same to your point, like, can you imagine these coaches like actually like yelling at these players during practice or like leaning into them or like, and I'm not saying that's needed 100% of the time, but like as a coach or an assistant coach, bench coach, whatever, you need to know when you got to turn it on and when not to. Great example last year. What's Florida's coach again? What's his name? The
Why
Panthers.
is my why am I drawing a blank at the Florida coach?
Okay, well, anyways, it'll come to us eventually. I can look it up too, but like, so like they were fringe. This was like two thirds way. You already know what I'm going to say. I'm sure this is like 2/3 of the way through the season. They were a fringe playoff team, and there's videos of him flipping the
No,
fuck out on the bench,
Paul
yelling
Maurice.
at his
Paul
guys,
Maurice.
calling them. I think he's like, I mean, he's berating his players, and I'm like, could you ever see Don doing that? And it's not that he has to do it all the time, but it's the right lever at the right time that he's pulling. And after that, they went on a. I mean, look what happened. They go on this run, and that's what he needed to do. Don situationally, he's not going to know when to pull this lever and when to pull this lever. It's just the same bullshit spiel the whole time. And like when you go in after the first period and you're I can tell you this is probably the talk. All right, guys. 20 minutes. We didn't have it. We didn't have it. We got to pick up the effort. Let's get to our game out there. Okay. Dump and chase. Let's beat them to the pucks. Let's be strong on the wall. Let's connect on some passes. And hey, ultimately, shoot the puck on the net. Let's throw some pucks at the net. Okay, this is what we got to do. You can play that on repeat on a loop. That's probably every intermission. He doesn't know what to do.
Can we hire you as coach of the Buffalo Sabres?
Oh my god, I
Oh
can
my
just imagine. And the players at this point are just eye rolling, I'm sure.
And it sucks. I think Don is a smart coach. I don't think he's a bad coach. I think his message has gone stale. And when your message has gone stale, it's very obvious. And so the coach you were looking for was Paul Maurice. I can't believe I forgot that his name was
Oh
Paul
yeah,
Maurice in
yeah.
Florida. And now that you're like talking about it, I remember he literally is on the bench and he's like, "You guys are playing like bitches." I think he said like that's what he said. That's what he said. That would fire me the fuck up. And I've never seen Granato lay into his players like that, like ever.
No,
Not that you have to because it's not like the '90s anymore or the 2000s. But
no.
man, not gonna lie, dude, these are hockey players. Hockey players kind of require like that kind of like teaching. Like John
Yeah.
Tortorella, John Tortorella lays into his guys, but then he will praise them in the next sentence. Like
Yes.
Tortorella, he will like what do you say this week? Oh, we won. They got shit on, I think, by a team. Like they won the game, but they were like dominated for the whole game, like, and somehow they won. And he was asked like, "How did your team win the game?" And he said, "Oh, our guys got balls."
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear that from our coach. I want to hear that. Like, why is it so hard to press the right lever or press the right button at the right time? It's just not working.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like John Cooper's another example. Like, you don't think John Cooper ever like yells at his players and like, and he's in Tampa. I mean, they're one of the older teams in the league. He's literally coaching grown men. But like, do
Yep.
you think a grown man is just gonna listen to like some bullshit spiel? Like, no. Like sometimes you just need to like man to man. We're gonna have this talk, and that's gonna. I mean, that strengthens bonds. That earns mutual respect. Hey, I'm gonna fight for this guy. I'm gonna go to war for this guy. Like
Yep.
that's the kind of coach you want. You need an absolute dog. Like it's just not in the cards right now with
Yeah.
Donnie.
as like as Neanderthal and like 90s 2000s that sounds, I I still think that's needed today. Like at the end of the day, like I know like the young hockey player is different than the young hockey player was, when I was maybe like a kid playing, but like you just this is a sport where like you need to get yelled at. Like I don't know really how to explain it, but like you kind of just need that kick in the dick sometimes to like, all right, I got to fight you. I'm letting my team down. I got to fire myself up for the boys. And if your coach is laying into you, you want to tell your coach, hey, fuck you. I'm gonna go do the thing. Like I think Darlene has that a lot, where like if he plays like shit, like he internalizes that. But Don should be like, hey, you're our best fucking player. Why don't you fucking make a play? Like he shouldn't. He needs to like get on him for that kind of thing, and instead of him just taking it on himself to like fire himself up. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and so another example, I just thought of this now. In the Carolina game, the whatever penalty it was that they called against, and Brindamore went
Oh, he was yeah,
absolutely
he was
nuts.
freaking out.
And you think with the this especially the Sabres with their penalty discrepancy, like you think Don would start freaking out on these officials once in a while and just saying like, "Hey boys, I got your backs." Like we're kind of getting screwed tonight. And like I know they show him yelling once in a while, but like I just like there's just got to be some passion there. And as far as like communication with the players go, like you're saying, like it's not coddling, it's not enabling. It's just like, hey, like this is what we need, and it's holding you accountable. It's like at the end of the day, like go out, play your game, and we got this system. But like if we're not doing what we need to do, we're gonna like we gotta hold you accountable.
Well, okay, so the other day, let's back to Tortorella. I just love what Tortorella is doing with the Flyers. Like, even though they don't have like the best skilled team, they're still like they're probably not going to make the playoffs. Like, they're going to come back down to earth. But like what they're doing has been great. And Joel
Dude, before
Farabee,
Torch had all these great points in the like in his recent games. Like we were mentioning that on here. We said that literally a couple weeks ago. Like,
yeah,
do you think Tortorella would like the team would be performing like this with a coach like that? Like, no.
like dude. So the other day, first minute of the game, Joel Farabee, who I want the Sabres to trade because I love Joel Farabee, great player. Trade for. He turned the puck over and he did not play a single shift for the rest of the game. Did not play a single shift for the rest of the game. And after the game, they asked him like, "Hey, why didn't Joel play?" And he said he didn't listen to me, so he sat. We never sit guys, and like people get on this talking point kind of like crosses over to football for me because when Twitter will fucking go insane when like James Cook will get sat because he fumbles the ball or drops the ball. And it's like he's just holding him accountable for making a mistake. Like, sometimes you kind of need to do that, and Don does none of that.
Yeah, yeah, and it depends on who the player is too. Like I mean, if situations matter, like we said, all this matters. Like if it's a 3-2 game and it's Tage, like maybe you're not doing it
Yeah, you're
then
not
because
gonna,
we need
of course,
firepower.
of
But like
course.
again, like that's just the situational awareness we're talking about, where it's like if it's something that realistically could happen and isn't going to like hurt the team, like the players all understand that and know. And what do you
Yeah.
think Tage is going to like? What do you think these players are going to do? They're going to go home and say, "Oh, like you know what? I really fucked up tonight. Like I got to get my shit together." Like,
Well, speaking of Tage, can you believe he came back already he played in the Detroit game?
yeah, I
That's a
mean, there's
positive, right? That's a
it's
positive.
it's a total positive. I thought he looked pretty damn good too. Like
He
for
did.
not I mean, he ripped a couple shots. He had one mishandle with his stick, but like other than that, like I mean, I thought he played pretty good.
So you're not like a bone guy, right? You just do like muscle for work.
Oh, we could do it all.
So like I was thinking, um, he definitely like broke something in his wrist. Like I think that's clear. Like he broke one of the bones. Are there like bones in the wrist that heal quicker than others?
No, but I mean, everyone's healing rate is going to be different. It depends on a lot of factors. It depends on like your age. It depends on like your activity level, your fitness level. It depends on comorbidities. Like if you have something that could delay healing, like diabetes or rheumatoid arthritis. Like there's a lot of things that go into that. I mean, these young kids are all professional athletes, and then you got to think bone is one of the few tissues in the body that's pretty much going to regenerate to like where it was before, and it's very vascularized, so it gets a ton of blood. So like
What a word.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm.
Big words on
You're.
this podcast.
This is my world right here. So like, the bone can heal very quickly because it gets a lot of blood flow. It's getting a lot of nourishment. So I mean, if he's, I mean, if he, did what he needed to do, we don't, again, we don't know the severity of it and things, but I mean, I'm not totally surprised that he's back somewhat quicker. And I mean, let's be honest, like, I mean, it's not like he had all the time to wait. Like the Sabres didn't do him any favors by playing good and letting him
Well,
rehab for another couple weeks.
and then Tuck got injured, so I bet he was like, "Well, fuck, our second best forward is out, and I gotta come back." I bet you, like under like his glove, I bet you there's kind of like an extra padding,
Yeah,
to protect. But besides
I
that,
wouldn't
I
be
mean,
surprised.
he looked really good. He had like basic. I haven't played hockey in 3 weeks rust, controlling the puck at points. But other points, he just looked like regular old Tage Thompson. And if the Sabres are going to do it, if they're going to defy like all of us being so down and negative, it's going to be on the back of Tage Thompson. So it's nice to have him back. That's like the one positive that I can say.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt good having him back. Like the Sabers and Tage are just like they're a pair now, and it's just like Don Lean. Like you have those couple guys where just like even though things aren't going the right way, just having him back is huge, and so it is good to have him back, and I think a little quicker than a lot of us maybe anticipated by like a couple weeks, but. Yeah, I'm really glad that he's back, and with the PK falling apart somewhat, I mean, he's much needed because he does a lot for the team other than just score. So,
Yeah, and speaking of the PK, Sabres made a trade today. Uh, the
oh boy,
Sabres the Sabres sent a conditional seventh round pick to Columbus for forward Eric Robinson, who has played 9 games this year and has been in the AHL for most of the season, but he was on the NHL roster last year. Honestly, he's fast as fuck. Like he is probably one of the fastest skaters in the game, and he's big, and he will kill penalties. Like I bet you that we're gonna get some bad news on Gergensons tomorrow. Like he'll be gone for like weeks or months, and this was his replacement. Which leads me to my next point. Like, it's totally fine. Like, it's whatever. Like, it's just a fourth liner. Like, who cares? Like, we kind of need that like role, and it's not like it's fine. Like, I'm more upset that they prioritize like this specific type of player before a guy that could like actually play big minutes and make an impact.
like who?
Anybody, go get me a fucking any. Go get me anyone.
Oh,
Go get
so
me.
externally.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I didn't know if
Like
you were talking about someone on the team
no,
that needed more
because
time.
at this point, I mean, what are you gonna do? Bring up Yuri Kulik and he's gonna like try to find his way in the NHL? Like I know Isaac Rosen has like he looks pretty fucking good now. Like he kind of looks like he's getting his feet wet and is
He had his best game against Detroit, 5 shots on
yeah
goal, and he didn't even have a lot of ice time, and
yeah
he looked more comfortable. He was finding open ice, so yeah.
yeah. So that's another positive there. Where like if this kid can like find his way, that's great. That's another guy we can like shuffle up the lineup a little bit more and play with the skill guys because I think he has it. I think he's more ready than Kulik personally. That's
Yeah.
kind of like a minority opinion, but I just every time I watch him, I'm very impressed. But besides that, man, they gotta go out. Like I know it's not gonna happen now, and it should have happened in the summer. But Kevin Adams really failed this team by not like replacing Jack Quinn's spot, and like he's not coming back until like later this month or even January. And you just punted the whole season without getting a replacement for. He's a sophomore too. It's not even like you could have expected to come out and like mirror how good JJ Peterka has been, who has been unbelievable.
Hmm.
But he's also just a kid, man. He's just a kid. We don't have anybody that's older. Like put an older guy, like not even an old guy, but like find someone. Guys get traded in this league all the time. Find someone that you can put on the second line and like you put him out for the extra attacker. Like why does it have to be like a young guy? Like why? This is the only team in the league where I feel like we're giving so much opportunity to the young guys, but not like guiding them through it.
Yeah, and like we've talked about before, it's like it just like you don't win a Stanley Cup. Like you need young pieces, yes, you need young talent, but you don't win a Stanley Cup with an age 21 roster. Like you just you just don't do it. It just doesn't happen. Bodies break down. These guys don't have the experience. And I mean, we've said it before too that Kevin Adams obviously didn't bring in pieces. And here's the thing: last offseason was the perfect season to do it. There was reports after the year that players were taking Buffalo off their no trade list, and this was the
Yep.
first year in a while people were okay coming here. I mean, those no trade lists, boop, Buffalo's right back on them because who
Dude,
the fuck
dude,
wants to come here now?
if I have a 7-team no trade, it's all 6 Canada teams and Buffalo, guaranteed. I guarantee
Yep.
that's how it is right now.
Yeah.
Even
And so,
Arizona looks fun, and you're playing at Arizona State where like, oh my God, you step out and there's just women everywhere. Like people are gonna go want to play in Arizona State.
yep.
People
No,
are
and
gonna,
yeah,
gonna come and they're winning and they're fun. They just fucking destroyed the Capitals the other day. They had 6 goals on 5 shots.
yep. You
So,
had the window. You had the window and you had the pieces. You had the pieces. You did your job when nobody wanted to come here of building the team how you needed to through the draft and acquiring draft picks and getting capital and getting assets. And then you had the year that you had where all these guys had career years. And again, there's all these reports, there's all this wind, this momentum for Buffalo,
positive momentum.
positive momentum for Buffalo, and you do nothing, and it's extremely frustrating because now if you go out and you don't turn this thing around this year, like I said, who is wanting to come here? Nobody's wanting to come here, and if they do, it's because you're paying them an absolutely absurd amount of money.
Okay, I have it right here. Since the Eichel trade, Kevin Adams has brought in these players, and you tell me how like on a A to F scale where this flies for you. Like outside the organization, veteran players, these are the guys that he's brought in:
All right.
Jordan Greenway, Riley Stillman, Eric Johnson, Connor Clifton, Eric Comrie, Tyson Jost, Ilya Lyubushkin, Eric Robinson. Those are the veterans he's brought in.
All right, go through them real quick. I'll just give you a real quick A to F grade.
Okay, Greenway, Stillman.
Wait, you gotta get, like, all right, you say the name and then I say my grade.
Oh, okay. Greenway,
B.
Stillman.
I mean, he's in
He's
the
an
fucking
offenser. He
AHL.
doesn't count.
So,
He
like,
doesn't
let's
count.
give that. I mean, let's be honest. Let's give that an F.
Johnson.
Eric Johnson?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking F.
Clifton.
D.
Comrie.
Oh, F.
Jost.
C.
Lyubushkin. He was terrible. Let's just say
C, because he was kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's it.
Yeah, once his fucking foot was stopped being broken, he was fun, but he was terrible.
Yeah. No, but
then-
realistically a D,
and-
but I give him a C because he scored that overtime winner.
does count as a full letter grade. Then Eric Robinson, who's obviously TBD. But dude, those are zero impact players. Like, what are we even doing here, dude?
Mm-mm.
What are we doing? No impact at all. That's not even like a third liner in that group. Those are all like 6-7 defensemen or fourth liners. Like maybe maybe Greenway you can stick in there because he's been pretty good. But lately he's got like what 2 goals in 20 games. So he hasn't been very good.
Here's a better one for you too. So that I mean, those are all great points. Like I appreciate you bringing that to the table here. Just great content. But here's another one. You had a player this year. You had a player in Matt Savoy that could have been a thing. Again, we don't know what happened here, but you let him play for 4 minutes. You want to know what he's doing down in Wenatchee?
He's
10
fucking
games
ripping
played.
it up.
10 games played. 23 points. The man's got 11 goals and 12 assists. Yeah,
What
you
did
know.
we said
We
he
don't
was
need
good for that
we don't
league.
need those goals. We don't need that. We don't need that offense up in Buffalo. Like let's give him one game for 4 minutes and then let's send him away. Like another just fantastic move by this team.
Yeah, I mean that's another child though. That's another 19-year-old. So like, really, what are we? I mean, I get it, Zach Benson. Zach Benson is our best forward. Like, okay, maybe
Yeah,
not,
but okay, would you rather have Krebs right now or would you rather have Savoy?
True, I know.
Byro? I mean, we're fucking around with Byro. I texted you last night. I didn't even know Byro was on the ice. Like that man. Like I mean, I vouched for him earlier in the year, and like I mean, this man is just. I mean, he's not. I mean, he's undrafted, so like I know it's an uphill thing. Like, but like still.
I mean, for him to even get games is like cool for him, but like he's like right in that group of like players that are good, like decent AHLers that are just they'll never be full time NHLers. You know,
Yeah.
like so he's in that group. It's just like he's brought in nothing. He has brought in nothing for this team. You can't expect 2 full years without like any significant outside moves to like, they were at a level of 91 points and instead of like adding to like push that ceiling higher, they were just like, no, that's good. This is totally good. And obviously we're seeing regression because like you said earlier in the pod, everybody had a career year.
Yeah, but it's not even like so that's the thing. You counted on no regression and like everybody just have another career year, but like it's not even just statistical regression. It's just like legit gameplay. Just like the gameplay
Body
looks,
language too.
body language, everything looks terrible. There was a tweet. I forget who it was. Someone in the Saberhood, and they were and they were. It was a last game, and it was perfect. It summed it up perfect. You probably saw it. It was a kid in the stands, and it said Sabres game plan, and it was just doodles all over, different color doodles. Like
I
my
did not
daughter
see
did it.
that.
It
I did
was it
not
was
see
it
it.
was it was awesome, and I was like, if fans are starting to bring this type of shit to the stadium, I'm like, this is not good.
Here's
We're
another weird.
approaching brown paper bags on the head type
Yeah, we
level
are.
here.
Montreal is currently ahead of us in the standings.
Mm.
Montreal is ahead of us, dude. So here's my next little talking point. Nothing will ever get done. I was about to say something very bad about Terry Pagula that I will now recant, but nothing will ever get done unless Terry Pagula gets his fucking head out of his ass and starts to step up as an owner. There is no accountability or leadership or care from the top down. Honestly, I kind of think like we're cursed because we were bitching about ticket prices like, what, like a month ago or so. And now that the team is going to be bad again, I think you're going to be able to walk into that building for $20. So I guess this is a lot of reaping what we sow. Hey, Terry doesn't give a fuck. I really don't think Terry knew that we played last night. I don't think he knew that we played a game last night. There's no getting to him. The Bills are a mess. Fucking playing Von Miller after he's accused of domestic violence. That's a fucking joke in itself. He does not care about his teams. He should sell the Buffalo Sabres. He should sell the team tomorrow. I'm sick of him. I'm fucking sick of his fan. I'm not sick of his family. Kim was the best. I think Kim was the glue that was holding things together.
At least for
And
the
it
Sabres.
it does suck ass that like she fell ill and like I really no one really knows what her health is like today, and I hope she's doing well because I think she was fantastic. But man, Terry, he just doesn't know what he's doing, and he has had probably the worst 10-year run as an owner than anyone I can think of, honestly. And I got kind of like, I put this in the Discord earlier this week, and I was like, we look like the Oakland Athletics, or like the
Oh
Pittsburgh
man.
Pirates, or we look like the Pirates, where like the ownership does not give a shit. We currently have $7 million in cap space. And I know the detractors want to say like, oh, we're going to be paying like, Cousins deal kicks in next year and like Darlene's deal kick. Okay, that's totally fine. You want to say that? We'll still have like 20 fucking $1 million in cap space because we're losing a Poso's deal, we're losing Joe's deal, we're losing Johnson's deal. Barry Clifton in the fucking minors for all I care. Let him go play in the AHL. There is guys make room for the cap all the time, especially in a league where like 60% of the teams are at the top. Those guys are like begging teams. So like here, take my take my decent player and like a pick so that we can have the cap space. Why have we
Yeah.
not weaponized any of this? Like why? It's been 2 years where we could have weaponized our cap and like taken a third round pick from someone for like a fuck, I can't even name a player, but like anybody that can step in here and play a role. But we don't do that. We use our
Well,
money to give $9 million to Connor Clifton and we give $3 million to Eric Johnson to fucking build a sauna for Rasmus Dahlin and do nothing else.
well, not to mention the I mean the advantage of having more cap money is essentially going away because the cap's going up $4 million next year. So like any foreseeable advantage you thought you had over another team. Well, they just got another $4 million to
Oh,
spend. So
well,
like,
don't worry, Matt. Don't worry. We're at like what 76 million right now. Don't worry, we'll be at 76 million dollars next year too. I guarantee it.
what was the
Guarantee it.
quote? You want to laugh? You want to laugh? What was the quote? From this day forward, the Buffalo Sabres solely exist to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and what else did that fucker say? It goes, "Oh, if I want to, have more money to spend, I'll drill another oil well." Okay, bud. Cool. Okay, that sounds great. Sounds great.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not even
fuck
spending the cap.
yeah, fuck this guy. He destroys New York State and like gets an amazing stadium deal. I am so glad. I am so glad. I heard cost overruns for the stadium are far exceeding what they were planning to budget. Fuck him. He has to spend most of his money to build this stadium more than he should have. And good, karma's on you, you little bitch. Karma's on you.
Well, not to mention like Sabres fans have been asking for like updates to Key Bank for like I mean
Oh my god,
the
it's a
scoreboard we have is
disaster.
brutal. It's like so not only are you like you want people to come to attend your games and pay more money, but like we're not dumping any of that money clearly into the team or the stadium. It's like what are we paying for?
I went to a game earlier this year and I ripped off the fucking armrest to the seat. It was gone. Just ripped it right off. Piece of shit. It's a piece of shit stadium.
It's been brutal. So I mean honestly like to kind of wrap all this up. I mean it speaks to the point like we were saying before. There's a lack of accountability from the highest of the high to the lowest of the low, and it's
Yep.
just a
They
it's
can't
dark
even.
days right now.
They can't even just like axe one assistant. Just like show the team that like you're not fucking around. Just like go gas Matt Ellis. Like go replace him as like the power play coach. Why is that so hard? The guy was a fucking fourth liner in the NHL. Like you think he knows what he's talking about the power play? Like
No,
Jesus Christ. Like what?
no.
You can't even just gas one coach. Like that. What
I'd
is
love
he
to.
paying? What is he
I
paying him?
would
Like
love.
250K? Nothing. You're paying him nothing to coach. Come on.
Yes, just save that money, Terry. There you go. More money in your pockets. But I would love to see Matt Ellis or even Don. I was so interested last night when they played because it was on a national broadcast, like you said. And I'm like, all right, Don's gonna get an in-game interview. Let's see what this fucking knucklehead has to say. Because you guarantee, like, I'm like, I want to see if he actually has a strategical response or if it's just the same bullshit on national TV. Well, we didn't get to our game in period one there, and we
I
gotta
know.
step up to compete.
Poor Emily Kaplan having to hear that horrible answer. Like she's one of the most amazing women in hockey. Just I love her reporting, and she has to sit there and put that microphone in his face and listen to that gibberish. Jesus Christ.
I mean, you could tell he had no idea what he was talking about, and he ended it with, "We just got to get shots to the net. That's all. We just got to get some shots to the net." Unbelievable,
I
unbelievable.
could
There was
I could I
so
where do
here's
we go from here?
all right. So I have a couple other things. So I posted this on Twitter, and I'd like to know what you think. And again, I think this just speaks to the accountability of it all. And um, Jay Woodcroft got fired,
Yep.
whatever it was, a month ago. All right, you want to know his and granted, the Oilers were off to a horrid start, but Jay
That wasn't
Woodcroft's
even his
record.
fault. It wasn't even his fault. It was the goalie's fault.
Yeah, exactly. There was extenuating circumstances, but this exactly relates to our situation. Jay Woodcroft as a head coach with the Oilers, 79, 41, and 13. Pretty
Yep.
damn good. I believe he is the correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say he was like their best coach ever. And as far as like percentage goes, granted it's a
Yeah.
shorter.
I think he was like the fastest coach to 50 wins in Oilers history, I think.
Yeah. So like honestly, great year. They got to the conference final one year, and then they lost in the second round, I think. Whatever, but like couple playoff appearances, great win percentage. Don Granato, 93, 102, and 23. This
Oh my
man's
god.
not even close to being 500. And again, I know different situations and things. I get it, but it's the fact. I don't even care about the records. That's one thing. It's the accountability. Edmonton is they showed their players, and again, you can say, oh, they still haven't played good. There's issues on the team, and then that's one thing you need to address. But they said something has to give here. Like something has to change because we're not getting the results. We had expectations and they're not being met, and this is not okay. And someone's got to be held accountable. So if you're not going to Kevin Adams, make a move, which you've shown complete and utter ineptness to be able to do anyways. So if you're not going to make a move to show these guys that you're serious about winning this year, which we all know you're not going to do, and I'm not saying you got to go out and fire Don Granato. Like you said, maybe it's Matt Ellis or somebody, but like something at some point, sooner than later, if you want to have any chance of saving this season, which is holding on by a thread, something has to give. Something has to give.
Yeah, and you know what's the wild part is they extended him till 2026, and who cares? Like this goes back to Pagula not wanting to spend more money. The guy was probably, if I had to guess, Don Granato was probably making like 4 million a year, maybe five. So if they extended him for till 2026, that's probably like, so he'll have to pay out like another 4, 8, 12, like maybe $12 million for the next couple of years. Bro, $12 million is like what Leonard Floyd just got for a year. So like, spare me the fact that it's like a whole lot of money. Like it's not. It's not. You can go out.
No, and
Dean Evison. Dean Evison just got fired by Minnesota, and they
yeah,
kind of were suffering the same fate as Edmonton, where like their goalies are really letting them down. And I mean, their penalty kill is like horrible. Like what? Actually, we did go 0 for 3 against them on the power play, and their penalty kill is like
good,
60%.
good,
So
good, good.
like that just goes to
Another
show
game
how
we won,
bad
but
we
should
are
have
on
lost.
defense. Yeah. So, but man, if you could bring him in, I mean, he's a guy where that's another guy that I would want to bring in because he shows fire on the bench. Like Minnesota played hard. Like they didn't win this year, but and ironically, like they're playing much better now. I think they're getting saves. That's why. Like their goaltending is back to like kind of Gustafson is playing like really well, and so is Kaprizov. Like, so it really is crazy. Like what can happen. Like even just giving your team like that new coach bump. Like
Hmm.
fire the coach. Maybe we rip off 4 in a row and we're right back in it. Like that's a real thing. Guys
Yeah,
feel pressure when the coach is fired.
absolutely, it is a real
And
thing.
Don,
And
God,
I'm not for this whole because you see it on Twitter all the time. Like, oh well, Don's earned a year, to show us what he has. Like, how? What has he earned? He earned us another year on the drought because we didn't get in last year. So he earned what? I mean, was he out
like
there putting pucks in the net? Was he having these like the players played good last year? But was that
I'm
just
glad we
because?
had 91 points, but 91 points is not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, and the only reason, I mean, and historically, 91 isn't even close to getting in the playoffs. You're usually at 96, 97 points
Right.
to get in the playoffs. So, like, I mean, you only missed the playoffs by 1 point last year because
It was
the total to
unusual.
get in was lower. But that was an aberrant year. Like, that wasn't, it's the same argument as the Bills and Sean McDermott, where Sean McDermott's staying on, and Sean McDermott legit has like gotten the Bills to the play. Like he's actually done some things. So like if anyone's earned something, it's him. But it's the same thing of saying like, okay, like he's done all these things. We're just gonna, but he can't get us over the hump. But we're just gonna hang on to him because of what we've had to deal with for so long. Well,
Yep.
again, Granato hasn't even gotten us over the hump, and people are saying that oh well let's give him the whole year. Like no, like the team's shown what they are to this point in time. Like I don't need to see another year of this. I don't, if anyone, everyone listening wants a whole year of this, like, strap in because that's where we're heading.
Yep. I fully agree with you, dude.
So that's tough. It's tough. But all right, what do you got? You got anything else you want to talk about here before we move on? Have we shit on them enough?
Yeah, honestly, I think that was really cathartic. I think we both made some great points. Like, from different perspectives, just like how we both felt. I feel like we kind of knocked it out of the park there. Like it's just very frustrating, folks. I like we said in the beginning, I think you said you were gonna go listen to the first episode or like the preview episode again and see like what we said. And man, I feel foolish for just buying the company line. They got me hooked in, hook, line, and sinker, and it could not be more disappointing.
It was a lot of us. I mean, dude, look at the comment. I mean, Sabres Twitter right now is it's on fire. Like everybody, like the world is burning. Like so, this it's. I was laughing because right now, anytime the Sabres like when they go down and they post on Twitter like immediately the goal, there is immediately no less than like 50 comments, and it is
I
just
know.
people roasting them. It is great. Not like when we're rolling and we're doing that good, it's like not even. But like when things are bad, people are just like people are
Like
savages online.
poor guy that like poor intern that posts the score on social media has to deal with all of it.
Yeah, Sabres Twitter is a mess right now. But it speaks to that point, like you were saying, that there was all these expectations going into the season, and this is our current reality. And
Oh, and we didn't
every,
even touch on Levi. We didn't even say anything about Levi. Like they said that they fucked up with Levi. Like that's another thing that was just so
mm-hmm,
stupid. Like
mm-hmm.
finally he's actually back. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts tomorrow, just
Yeah,
because
because UPL's sick,
UPL's
so I
is sick.
yeah, it's
But
not going to be long term.
he's gonna go back down, and like he was playing pretty well there. But man, it took him 20 games of the regular season to get him down there. Like they just made so many. What's the word when you make a mistake on your own? Like self. I don't even know. Like
Self
they're
inflicted.
yeah, they're like self-inflicted. They thank you. Like they're did so many self-inflicted mistakes. Like they were not forced. They were not like forced to just go into the season status quo, and they kind of did, man.
Yeah, as Taylor Swift would say, it's death by a thousand cuts.
Oh my God, that was incredible! Wow, nice, nice. I
I
love
mean,
it.
you know
I love
what? We're I got one quick thing before we move on because we're gonna talk. We can do our music rewind after this. We want to go through like our top music things
it.
from the
Sure.
year. See if we can end on a little bit of a lighter note. But I have one more thing here. This just popped into my head. I actually was having a discussion with one of my patients today, and he brought this up to me, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'm gonna mention this on the show. Like I'm at a point now, and I don't know how you feel, where I don't need to see Eric Johnson on the ice. I'd rather, of course, see Ryan Johnson. But like honestly, I'm also like, dude, just put in Jacob Bryson and just see what he could do. Like at this point,
I know
honestly, I'm
he's
like,
played. Jacob Bryson is 2-0 this year in games he's
no
played.
three.
Three?
I'm pretty sure 3-0. And like I'm not like clamoring for Bryson. I think he's this great player, but like if you need to shake things up, like I mean, yeah, sure, he's sitting there and like at this moment in time, you're not going to tell me he does not have more upside than Eric Johnson. Eric Johnson is
Yeah,
a straight up liability out there.
I kind of like I kind of agree. Just because like the thing that he was good at is the thing that we're missing. Like once he kind of retrieved the puck and had space to move it, he could move it, and like our guys just kind of can't right now. So like even though he's not like obviously he's a seventh defenseman, like whatever, but I can't believe we're clamoring for Jacob Bryson.
I just feel like it's sneaky. That's the kind of guy that like hasn't played in like a month and a half. He could just come in and be like you said last time, and I was laughing listening back to the show. We were like, "Fucking right, boys, fucking right." Like
Yeah,
that's where like he's coming in, and he's gonna get like a goal and an assist in his first game, and just go out there and go balls to the wall because he's got nothing to lose, and be like, "Boys, this is how we need to play all the time." Again, I'm not saying
yeah.
it's gonna happen, but it'd be some poetic shit if it did.
I know, yeah, and I mean he must be super like he must be like, man, I must be a piece of shit if I can't get over the lineup over these clowns that we're icing. Jesus Christ.
Exactly, exactly. I'll just shout out Zach Benson before we get onto the music
Oh
because he's
yeah,
been absolutely
fucking
sick.
dog. Zach Benson. What are the clubs now downtown? Like what are the ones like bottoms up? Zach Benson has to be going to bottoms up and just grinding on every piece of ass in the club because he's so good.
Bottoms up. That's
Yeah,
probably what it is too. Just hanging out on Chippewa.
yeah, he has to be. I would. Holy shit, I would be down there. Oh my god, 18 years old. Good lord.
Oh, this time of year too, you can take when there's ice out, you can take the skates. You can do a little stick handling in the street.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, yeah. Good for Zach Benson. He's gonna be really good for a long time. Like, can you imagine Zach Benson if he doesn't get like the dog beaten out of him by being on this depressed ass team? Can you imagine how good he's gonna be in 2 years when he kind of like still gonna be 20 years old, but like kind of like loses the baby fat and gets a little bit more of like a man body in there? He's gonna be a disgusting player. I think he's gonna be like Braden Point. Honestly, that's my comp for him.
All right, dude. So before we move on, just give me final thoughts. What are you feeling right now? Like, what after going through this catharsis here? Like, where are you at right now?
You're not gonna like this.
Dude, do not say you're excited.
I am watching. I am going to watch as many Boston University college hockey games as possible because we are going to select Macklin Celebrini #1 overall this season. That's how our season's going to go. We're going to finish like fourth last and win the lottery. That's how I feel. We're going to be really bad for the rest of the season.
Yeah, dude, I know. Like, so this is where I'm at. I'm like, I truly am apathetic right now towards this franchise. I have tickets to go in like a couple weeks, and I like this is the first time I'm ever sitting in the 100 sections, and we paid like decent money for them, and I'm like absolutely regretting it. Like, I don't even want to go, but I am. I'm very low on this team right now. I'm very down on it. I do not. I don't think there's any toughness. I do think they are mentally fragile. Clearly, they didn't get the pieces they need, but I'm feeling like until a change is made, and specifically at the coaching position. This is officially me calling for Don Granato to be fired. I think it actually has to happen. And you say that's premature, whatever, but
It's not. It's
when
not.
I see this team consistently have no game plans, doesn't know where each other is in space. They're not at all the team we saw last year. There's a consistent lack of effort. There's a consistent lack of preparedness. That comes down to head coaching and leadership and not being able to get your team ready to play in games. And I will officially from this point on be clamoring for Don Granato's head on a stick, not really, just like metaphorically, until it happens. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I back you 100%.
All right. Well, that's enough talk about this shitty team. We said we weren't going to talk long about them, and we went
Yeah,
for an hour and
let's
20
talk
minutes.
about let's talk about something fun. Like we can even let's just throw this in here now so we don't have to talk about the Sabres anymore. But they got 4 games coming up. They're playing tomorrow against Boston on Thursday, Saturday versus Montreal, Monday versus Arizona, and Wednesday at Colorado. Good luck, boys. That's all I'll say. Good luck. Let's
Quick,
move on.
quick points. How many are they getting?
0.
Fucking A, dude. Oh my god. Dude, I honestly am going with 0 too. I'm picking, dude, we had last year between 11-4 and 11-19, we went on a loss 8 and we just lost 4 and we're about to lose another 4. That is I'm totally down on this team right
Yeah.
now. I hope we're
It didn't
wrong,
even
but
it didn't even like my brain didn't even contemplate saying anything but 0 there. So I'm saying 0.
we're not beating Boston. No way in hell. We barely beat them. Colorado, we pumped 4-0. They're absolutely gonna revenge and kick our ass. And then Montreal, I mean, or Arizona. Arizona's playing incredible hockey right now. And Montreal is a toss-up game, one that we should win. So we will absolutely lose that game. So
Yep. Yeah. Let's move on. Fuck this team.
all right. So if you are listening to the show here, and whether you have Apple Music, whether you have Spotify, you can look at your replays or your what's it called on Spotify?
Spotify Wrapped.
All right, so Spotify Wrapped or replay, and if you listen to this, check it out. Like, so send us tag us on Twitter, and send us a screenshot of what you've been listening to. I'd love to listen to some new shit, but it basically tells you like your top artists that you listen to, some of the top songs and albums, and so. All right, Ryan, you want to go first? Let me see. What was your top 5 artists of the new year? And if you want to give like minute totals, you can.
So it doesn't show individual minute totals on Spotify.
Oh, it doesn't. All right, Apple
Well,
does.
it might, but I didn't screenshot that one. I only screenshotted 2 things. But so my top artists were Taylor Swift, #1. I listen to everyone knows by now. I listen to a lot of Taylor Swift. She is my hero. We're not going to get into it, but I love her. And then my second artist was Neck Deep. Amazing band. Amazing band. I love them. My third artist was Real Friends. Another amazing band. My fourth artist was Hot Mulligan. My buddy John, shout out
Dude,
John, he
Hot
got me in.
Mulligan, let's go.
Yeah, he got me into them last year. Unbelievable band, and then a band called Water Parks, they're very fun, very different. I like them a lot. So my top five artists are all sad people, all very sad. So I kind of love it.
I mean, that kind of goes with the Sabres vibes right now, anyways.
It does, it does. I'm such
What?
a
Oh,
fucking
dude.
whiny boy. You got to come to the Real Friends show next week. Just like convince Katie that you can come.
What? Well, there's a hot. What's like some of Hot Mulligan's top songs? There's a Hot Mulligan song that I absolutely know that I loved when I was younger.
Well, they came out with a new album recently.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
yeah.
really
That's the
good.
one you listen to. Yeah, I
And
can't.
then they got a really popular song. They got a really Jesus Christ, I'm gonna fucking choke. They got a really popular song off their second album. It's called where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh my god, dude! Why can't I find the fucking album? It's got a long
Maybe.
name, so I have to like.
Yeah, I might be thinking of I might be thinking of a
No.
different band, but because I just kind of googled their songs and I don't really know any of those top ones. But
Yeah, I don't know. I know I sent you a couple of their songs like before,
yeah, I remember. Yeah, yeah.
but dude, anyway, there's just so they all their songs have weird ass names. Like they're like straight out of like the like 2006, 2007, 2008 like emo-ish band, naming their songs like just random things that have nothing to do with the song. So like I kind of love them for that. But that's another band you guys should check out. What were your top five?
All right, dude. So I want you to take a guess at who you think my number one artist was.
Kenny Chesney.
Oh, dude, that's such a good guess. But no, no, no. So my number one artist, the man himself, NF.
Yeah, see that was gonna be my second guess. That was gonna
Oh
be my
yeah.
second guess.
So if for those listening, do me a favor and look up NF. He's a rapper, and he like you will if you're listening and you've heard of NF, you already know because this man just like the music he creates, it's just it's a story. Like this man tells stories, and the music videos are like legit movies. But he comes from like he talks about this in all his songs, but he's had a terrible upbringing. He's had a checkered past, and that's kind of what inspires him. But he's had he's had 4 albums to date, and he's had one mixtape, and the mixtape's good too. But the albums, I mean, if you listen to them in order, so it's Mansion, Therapy Session, there was Perception, and then The Search. Oh, so 5 albums, and then the latest is Hope. Each album is just like crazy, like to see the progression and this man's just like lyricism and skills, and he is it's non-explicit, but you wouldn't even know because the tracks just hit so hard, but it's very, I mean, it's very orchestral
Oh
type
yeah,
music and just
yeah,
like the
he's
the
fantastic.
songs that like he's trying to provoke emotion in you, like it just like hits you in like deep, and then like the songs where he's like, I'm just gonna like rip out a banger here, like it's what he does. But it's really cool, like if you go on YouTube and you like start at Mansion, like and just watch like reactors to it, like oh you'll be sitting there for hours because it's just like there is so much depth to it. It's not just garbage rap. It's like just incredible lyricism. And I'm and if someone is out there listening to this and you haven't heard him, give him a shot and let me know what you think because I absolutely love this man and I listen to him all the time.
Yeah, dude, The Search is still one of my favorite rap albums of all time. Just from song one to the final song, it's just absolutely incredible. I mean, like that up is a great shout, unbelievable person and artist.
There's
And
so
it
many good songs,
and
and
it
the
sucks
reason
ass that he didn't come here.
I know we were supposed to see him and COVID really messed all that up, and now he's
Yep.
just too big, so he's going to all the football stadiums. But the reason I suggest to listen front to back, you certainly don't have to, is just because every album and multiple songs and multiple albums are connected. Like a lyric in a song on the first album connects to album 3 or connects to album 2, and it's just like you pick up. And I mean, I've listened to all the songs numerous times, and you still pick up like little like peanuts here and there. So I've listened to him this year for almost 4,000 minutes
That's
of
incredible.
playtime for NF. My number two, for just to relate this, my number two artist is Bailey Zimmerman. He's a country artist.
Okay.
884. So like I
So
listen to
wow,
NF way more than anybody
85%,
else.
85% of your music is NF.
Yeah. So Bailey Zimmerman is not my number two artist. He's a up and coming like country artist, but his like new album's like really good. And then Morgan Wallen is number three. Everyone knows Morgan Wallen. I mean, he's kind of like the big deal. Here we go. 4 and 5 you'll be proud of for me. 4, Real Friends.
Let's go. Let's go. I love it. I love it.
Yep. And then
That's
5 was actually all time low because
wow. I
I
love
love their
music.
new album.
Yeah, dude, it's really good. It's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's really
The
good.
new album is good, and I used to listen
Oh,
to them a
that's so
lot when I
funny.
was younger.
That's so funny. So I listened to a total of 67,776 minutes on Spotify this year.
Dude, that's
Isn't
crazy.
that insane?
I don't even know if I could get my total, but yeah.
It factors in podcasting too. I'm gonna scroll through here while we're talking. So
Yeah, podcasts I
I mean,
listen to a ton of.
obviously, like because I'm a mail carrier, like I have my shit in just like constantly, so I'm always listening to something. But I feel like 67,000 minutes is like absolutely crazy. Isn't that insane, dude? 70,000. And like I saw a couple of my friends sent me a screenshot of their Wrapped, and they had like 95,000 minutes.
Damn.
Isn't that
So
fucked?
I mean that's like so 70,000 minutes.
Yeah.
That's like 1,100 hours,
Holy shit.
which is almost like 50 days.
So so I played 705 songs this year. And then when I looked at my wife's, she said that she played like 1,300 songs. So
Oh
she
yeah,
played
dude, I can imagine Lexi
so
just
many songs.
bumping.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Oh man, this it's just so fun. Like looking at your Wrapped, it's just like I always want to know. I make predictions. Actually, I wonder if I did it last year. I don't remember. But like in the beginning of the year, I'll make like Spotify Wrapped predictions. I kind of want to see if I did it this year. Oh, I don't remember if I did. Oh, I didn't. I did it the one year, and I was like very close to like what my final my final numbers were. And man, it's super fun to just go back and like look at everything you've listened to over the year.
It's cool because like sorry, I was looking. I'm trying to find. I think you can also go back and look at like years past. I was trying to find out
Yeah,
how
you
to do
can.
that,
You can. You can.
but
At least okay, here. So I just actually found my minutes. So I spent 3,365 minutes listening to Taylor Swift this year.
how much?
3,365.
Oh yeah, that's pretty solid. So it's just cool. So if you're listening and you do this, send us like I said, tag us on Twitter or send us a screenshot or a DM of what you're listening to. We can find some new stuff, but it is cool because it just kind of shows you like your trends. And I laughed because at the end of the year I saw where my numbers were and I was like, yep, that's me in a nutshell. So it really kind of like summarizes you pretty well. But I'm
Dude,
looking
I
at my
love
one here
this.
from 2016 and it's like,
Wow, 2016?
oh, dude, it's all country. I was just like all country back then. And
Yeah,
I
you
still listen to country a lot, but not I'm not as big on the country now. I dabble in some
you're
of
a
the
rap
punk
guy
pop.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you're
I
like a
don't,
pop.
dude. I don't
You're like
listen
a
to any rap other than NF. He's really the
yeah.
only. Oh, and Eminem, of course. But
I'm like slowly transitioning you to like a pop punk, fan. So it's kind of fun. Every time I
I do
send you a
that.
song, you're like, "Wow, this song's amazing," and you're like a big fan of Cody's voice from Real Friends. You think his voice is incredible, so
Oh,
that's awesome.
dude, he is great. He is great. You know what? You know what? I already know what 2024 number one's gonna be.
Real Friends.
Saber Spotlight.
Yeah, let's go. Yep. Yep. 2021, 2024 is our year for this podcast. I'll tell you that. I'm having so much, even though our team sucks, it's been great recording so far.
It has been. It has been. And I got some cool shit I want to talk about for the Amherst, but we're not going to do that today because I want to actually save that for a fun podcast. Hopefully, when the Sabres are playing a little bit better, we'll give you guys an Amherst update next week because there hasn't been too much on the Amherst end other than a couple games. So we'll do that next week because we're running a little over on the time. But Ryan, anything else you want to say here before we close things out?
Nothing. Just, thanks for giving me this platform to let out my grievances with this team because it was much needed.
Yeah, it was definitely a show that I was excited to do, even though it's not fun to talk about. But
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I
That's my
tell
line. You ever notice that? That is
we'll
totally
see what
my line.
happens. Yeah,
I
it
say
is.
we'll
It
see what
is.
happens. I because
Yeah.
I listen to every show back, and I'm like I say like when I don't know like where to like finish a thought, that's my go. I'm just like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So my wife went to bed before we recorded, and I said she was already mad at me because I was yelling about FIFA because I was getting pissed because I was losing. I don't even get that mad, but like my voice like it carries. Like I don't know why, but sometimes my voice just like it's not an inside voice. So I go up there and I tell her like okay like good night I love you and stuff, and she goes, if you wake me up one more fucking time, it is not going to end well for you. And I'm like, listen, we're recording the podcast and I can't tell you what I'm about to say. Like I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I don't know if you were successful tonight because I feel like we got riled up a couple times
Yeah,
tonight. So
we like she's like I know the team is ass, but please control yourself. So I think I did okay.
I think we did good. And I will say,
Uh
I am toasty with this space heater now.
yeah,
So I
I
am.
I finished I finished my beer. What do
Yep.
I got a ruby red Kolsch right here. It's super
Yep.
good.
Yep.
So it was a good night of podcasting. We can
I had
sign
my
off.
Jack and Coke to start the night, and then I went to this guy,
Oh
the
damn, you grabbed
old
another one.
the old Bud Light Seltzer, Black Cherry. Well, I'm off from work tomorrow, so why not? I might even open one more before I go to bed. Whatever. But
Nice. All right, that's cool. Good job. Good job with that.
all right, folks. Well, that's gonna do it for us today. If, as always, if you listen to the show, make sure you follow us on Apple, Spotify. Check us out over on YouTube, and YouTube's a good platform to interact with us too. So if you watch the videos, comment, like the videos and comment. We'll obviously get back to you guys there, but you can always reach out to us on our Twitter handles. Those will be linked in the show notes below, as they always are. And follow the show on Twitter at Sabres Spotlight. And also, if you have any feedback for us, then you can also feel free to email us. That's in the show notes as well. But that's going to do it for today. Hopefully, we're happier when we talk next week. But if not, we'll be here either way. We'll see you later, folks.
Hey, we never shouted out our where you can find us.
What do you mean?
We do it every time. We never shout out our handles. You fucked
Oh, I
up.
know why. I just wrapped it up. I just like said, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Ryan, what's your Twitter?
Oh yeah, my Twitter. We gotta shout out the Twitters, bro. My Twitter is at RMC1492, and you can be found where?
And I'm at Matt Walsh PT. But you know what, dude? Honestly, I don't like use my I
Yeah,
pretty
you're
much run
tweeting from the
our
Saber. Yeah, you're tweeting from the Saber Spotlight account.
yeah. So honestly, if you follow the show, it's pretty much me and then Ryan. I would if you want to follow Ryan and you like what he has to say. I mean, that would blow my mind if you do.
Jesus, Jesus.
But if you want to follow Ryan, yeah, no, definitely check him out. I like I said, I'm tweeting more from the account. I feel like you usually kind of say if it's you on the show account or not, but either one of
Yeah,
those
or
works.
yeah, I'll like quote tweet you off the account, and I'll add my little things there, but it is mostly you.
Yeah, it's been fun because there's definitely there. I mean, there's more engagement now on the Twitter as we continue throughout the season, and hopefully gain new followers and people like listening to the show, which we appreciate a bunch because we have fun doing it. So yeah, check us out over on there, and email, Twitter, whatever you got to do. But we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace.